What do you really like about tech writing? What does really attracts you?
I think there's a couple of things. The first part is definitely just the detail orientedness of it. I find really enjoyable. But I think the main thing is I just really love to learn. And that's one cool thing about being a tech writer is you get to learn stuff all the time. I mean, it obviously varies from company to company and from field to field, and there's no absolutes, but I find that in the jobs I've had, I'm always getting to learn new technologies, new products, new features. And if you're interested in the stuff your company's making or doing or whatever you're working on, it's pretty easy to enjoy it. And I think that's a big part of it for me. I also find just writing and helping to teach users and help them accomplish their goals to be pretty rewarding in and of itself. I love when I get a message from our support team and they say, oh, we had someone come to us for a problem, but we really quickly found there was documentation for this and they solved their problem on their own and they're happy and everyone gets to have a better day for it. I really like that. So yeah, I think it's a combination of those things.
Right. Throughout the years, have you faced any challenges?
Yeah, certainly. I think as a new tech writer, learning all of the parts of the document development lifecycle was a challenge. Just learning all the tooling. I came in having a very cursory understanding of what tools like Git were.
Yeah.
I had no idea what,
Yeah.
version control systems were, and I was new to all of these things. So that was definitely a big challenge. Like I said, I came in with writing experience and writing expertise in a way, and then had to learn all that. So that was pretty challenging, but rewarding too. I would say my biggest challenge was actually at my current company where I was hired to basically build out a docs center from scratch, where
Okay.
they had made attempts at building some documentation resources, and it was basically a handful of people doing things after hours, trying to cobble something together that was
Okay.
serviceable. It just didn't have a unified strategy, and so it was a really cool opportunity, but also certainly a big challenge to come in and say, well, what's the right tooling, what's the right,
Okay.
down to information architecture, and how do I put everything together in a way that makes sense for these users that I'm still learning to understand. So I think that was probably the biggest challenge I've faced so far, but in a good way.
I know that company to company, the workflow actually varies. Do you really want to explain that? How does your workflow works in case of your organization?
Yeah, I think ours is probably pretty similar to how most people in tech or in software world work, where we have a software development life cycle that's always going on. And in our case, we have a very busy and very prolific product team and development team and a very small documentation team. So there's almost always more to do than we have capacity to do. So it's a matter of understanding what new features are coming out, what updates are happening, whether there are bugs being quashed and all that kind of stuff. And then determining, what exactly do we need to update? What are our priorities? How do we figure out exactly what users need right now? And then doing a draft and going through and collecting all the material you can, talking to the right subject matter experts, and then drafting up the content and then sending it out for review and doing that kind of iterative process of working on revisions and checking it for technical accuracy, making sure it fits into the body of the documentation in a reasonable, helpful way, and then it gets published out. That's pretty standard.
I think in our organization, throughout the time, we are using kind of similar approach. Have you seen that tech writing have evolved throughout the time, like from the time that you have joined to the time current in the current situation?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's hard to tell what are trends so much as what is the culture of the org you're in. And I think that determines your sense of trends in some ways. But I think the elephant in the room is certainly artificial intelligence and a move toward using generative AI in particular.
Right.
That's probably the biggest change I've been around for. I mean, I started working as a tech writer in 2018. So I haven't been in the field too terribly long. I'm not a 20-year veteran that has the benefit of time
Yeah.
and scope to really reflect on that. But that's certainly been the biggest change. I think you see some fluctuations in the tech sector in general based on the overall health of the market and what people are placing value in. Like 3 or 4 years ago, it was all about fast growth. how can
Right.
we scale up orgs, and everyone's hiring everyone all the time. And then as
Yeah.
things have cooled off in the past couple of years, it's become much more about value and how do we deliver value to our users and our customers. And that certainly has an effect on the tech writing space and related roles too. So, and AI plays into that for sure. That's probably the biggest thing. It's just
Yeah.
seeing how tech writers leverage AI as force multipliers, as augmentation tools. Yeah.